Attribute number 13, giver of satisfaction and enjoyment at work. Meditation number 44. Ecclesiastes 2:22-26. What does a man get for all the toil and anxious striving with which he labors under the sun? All his days his work is pain and grief. Even at night his mind does not rest. This too is meaningless. A man can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in his work. This too, I see, is from the hand of God. For without him, who can eat or find enjoyment? To the man who pleases him, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering and storing up wealth to hand it over to the one who pleases God. Ecclesiastes 5:19. When God gives any man wealth and possessions, and enables him to enjoy them, to accept his lot, and to be happy in his work, this is a gift from God. Ecclesiastes 6:3. A man may have 100 children and live many years, yet no matter how long he lives, if he cannot enjoy his prosperity, I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. What is wonderful about this attribute? If a man enjoys his work, that enjoyment does not come from the work itself. The natural experience from work is what the writer of Ecclesiastes experienced in verses 22-23. Ceaseless toil, pain, and grief that seem to have no meaning. It is only through a special act of God's favor that a man can find satisfaction and enjoyment in his work. So the enjoyment really is not enjoyment of the work itself. It does not come from finding meaning in the work. It only comes from the presence of God. Apart from that special grace, you would be miserable all day, every day. If we could learn to make our work a time of fellowship with God as it should be, oh, how we would treasure that time at work. It would bring such massive delight and joy into our souls. Then we would be like the psalmist who had joy all day long, Psalm 89:16. This attribute is especially wonderful because for the one who experiences it, happiness is not dependent upon the type of job he has or the circumstances at work. Joy is available all the time. What effect would it have on your heart if you were to consciously experience God as giver of satisfaction today? Experiencing this attribute. As you work today, be on the lookout for even the slightest tinge of enjoyment or satisfaction from your work. Let that remind you that at that moment you are actually on the receiving end of special, intentional, direct grace and favor from God. Enjoy that grace as you bask in His presence in those moments. And then consider this. Did the joy come from a conscious pursuit of fellowship with God? Or did it happen in spite of the fact that there was no such conscious pursuit? If it was the former, rejoice. You're learning how to have fellowship with God while you work. And if it was the latter, rejoice. God did not leave you to yourself, but gave you a grace you did not even seek to remind you what you could have more of if you sought after Him more. Think, is there any sense in which what you do at work during the day could be construed as seeking God with all your heart? If not, what higher priority could you possibly have than to make it so it is a time of seeking God? What do you have to lose besides joylessness? Promise to trust today. Isaiah 30:10. Tell the righteous it will be well with them, for they will enjoy the fruit of their deeds. First Timothy 6:17. Hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment.